At the heart of the ultimate dungeon in Bio Wasteland is the Abyss of the End, starting with its first area, the Silent City. Bio Wasteland was a fully open world, MMORPG, where players can act freely in the game from a first-person perspective. As soon as the game was released, it topped all major rankings and became a global phenomenon with the highest number of online players within just half a year. According to the official game setting, the world has become a wasteland due to nuclear war, and many creatures have mutated from nuclear contamination. The remaining humans can only survive by barely clinging to life in underground shelters. In order to return to the surface, the human leadership used genetic engineering to create a group of new humans with various supernatural abilities, forming the New Human Revival Alliance, and sent them to the surface to reclaim it. There was a New Human Alliance, which was the player faction, and Mutant Species, which was the army of mutants. The so-called New Humans are the characters played by the players, and their mission was to fight and eliminate the various mutated creatures that infest the surface. As players' levels and combat power increased massively, they were no longer satisfied with basic tasks like daily monster hunting. Under the management of the company, all sorts of exhilarating dungeon events have become hot topics among players. Among them, the newest ultimate dungeon event introduced in the game, Abyss of the End, has drawn in a huge number of hardcore players eager to take on the challenge. Although Abyss of the End has multiple areas, the number of areas was unknown. The monsters were extremely dangerous, and the dungeon difficulty was very high. Abyss of the End really lives up to being the final dungeon. Players loved it so much. Despite it being difficult, it hasn't dampened the players' enthusiasm for that dungeon. Even the top players in the game can barely last an hour in the first area of the Abyss of the End Silent City. So, even just showing one's face in Silent City is something to brag about for a while. And if they manage to kill 1 or 2 monsters, that's bragging rights for a lifetime. A female player told her companions not to let their guard down because the new boss in the dungeon has insanely advanced AI that it was almost like it was controlled by a real person. After repeating grinding monsters in Silent City, players' combat power rose again, and it looked like the area was about to fall to the relentless assault of players. Something that moved at a lightning speed attacked them. One of them thought it was the boss that the woman was talking about, but she clarified that it was just a hellhound, a little pet of the boss. Someone appeared that made the situation shift into the mutants' favor. Those that arrived supported the Cerberus of Hell. One of them was a silver-haired guy with scaly tentacles on his back. He's the mutant commander Zhongfenggu. He saw that another bunch of lunatics came to throw their lives away. Since they came at his doorstep, he turned on massacre mode. The tentacles on his back attacked those players simultaneously. He got thrilled upon getting free kills. 2 women were watching from the side. The semi-mechanical maiden complained that he jumped in first when they agreed to split the kills. Synth number 0 lectured him for hitting the players so hard. She's worried that the fragile-hearted fools would stop coming to throw their lives away. Zerg Queen Larva told her to stop blaming him for it. She reasoned that those humans dared to interrupt their afternoon tea with their senior... So, they deserved to be beaten to death over and over. But to her, that was not enough because there wasn't anyone who came to pick a fight for a while. Super Raider, who was just eating on the side, suggested that they grab a bite to replenish their energy like Siwei and Wangzai. Fangu could sense the entire player faction mobilizing. If they don't eat at once, they'll miss their chance later. Semi-Mechanical expressed that more than eating food, she wanted to eat players. Synth number 0 was excited to farm players too. Zerg Queen Larva was looking forward to it. Since that was the case, Fangu suggested that they all go in together. From the looks of it, the top-ranked players were there, so it was a perfect chance to wipe them all out in one go. Deep inside, Fangu questioned whether he's a monster on the villain's side who hunts players. He was confused about his identity. And all this started on a single day when he was an ordinary college student. A man shoved him on the wall and asked where he had been since he hadn't seen him for a few days. And judging by the looks of it, he looked better than before, so they demanded money from him and they'll let him off. They persuaded him even more by saying that his dad's hospital bills were already in the tens of thousands, so just a little more wouldn't make a difference. He glared at them. The guy in front got slightly intimidated. Then it got furious when he didn't answer. He took it as Fangu wanted to get beaten again. 2 women came and noticed them extorting a pretty boy in broad daylight at school. One of them was Zhang Yayu, and she told those guys that they have guts to bully one of her students. Zhao Susu added that if she's the one handling it, she would have them expelled, but if it was Yayu, they would end up in the hospital. The bullies were terrified because they knew not to mess with Yayu. They heard that she used to run one of the school clubs and Susu's dads were on the school board, so she's pretty influential. They left while telling Fangu to just be pampered by those women. He made a threat to make him pay one day. Yayu told Fangu to show some guts because he could just knock them out with one hand. She assured him that she has his back, so if there's trouble, he won't take the fall. She asked him what he's scared of. Susu understands that he just doesn't want to cause a scene because if he hurts them, they'll milk him for medical fees. Fangu assured Yayu that he knew his limits. Then he asked if they needed something from him. Susu informed him that she talked to Yayu about something serious when Cua ran over to them, saying that he's in trouble. But according to her, she wasn't the one who saw him being cornered by those guys. Lin Yuting caught up to them and asked if he's hurt. She was the one who called them and ran off, and she's just getting there now. Fang Yu thanked her for calling them. She blushed when her senior thanked her and patted her head. She thinks he's kind and gentle, and it makes her want to stay by his side. She replied that he doesn't have to thank her, but deep inside she's boiling with anger because those guys stole the time that she could have spent with her senior. She vowed not to show those jerks mercy. Fangu assured them that he's fine and thanked Yu Ying again. Yuting told him not to be so polite because they're hardcore teammates in the game. She added that once he gathered the money for his dad's treatment, they should definitely keep playing Bio Wasteland together. Susu agreed. Abyss of the End was the ultimate dungeon in the game, and without him leading them, they wouldn't make it through at all. She offered to pay for his father's medical bills first and he could pay her back later with no pressure. Yuting thinks that was a good idea so they could play again together. They had so much fun playing with him. He replied that they'll have to talk about it some other time. He had no afternoon classes, so he was off to his part-time job. He told them that working part-time lets him earn money and improve himself, so it wasn't that bad. Susu tried to stop him because she wasn't done talking yet. He told them not to worry because he'll gather the money for his dad's surgery soon. He urged them to focus on leveling up first, and he'll join them in no time. Yayu comforted Susu and brought up to her awareness how strong Fangu is. Susu suddenly offers him tens of thousands when he has nothing to pay her back with. It gave him a single option to just marry into her family and become her live-in son-in-law. Susu clarified that she was just concerned about him, though. She also had selfish reasons, too. She stated that Rebellion Kid's account wasn't high, but his actual skill was top tier. She believes that if he stays in the team, they'll definitely conquer Abyss of the End one day. Rebellion Kid was a top-ranked player in the entire server, and with Fangu's micro-control and understanding of the game, she's certain that he's on par with Rebellion Kid. Yayu knew Susu was pertaining to the guy who solo cleared the Abyss of the End dungeon. That guy was already a legend in the game, but Susu believes that Fangu was even stronger than him. After that conversation, she offered to treat them to a meal, and after that, they'd go to more dungeons. She wanted to focus on preparing for Abyss of the End in the meantime and wait for the Rebellion Kid to return. They all went. Nighttime came. Fangu talked to his mom over the phone to say that once he had his part-time paycheck and combined it with what he saved, he should be able to cover half of his dad's surgery cost. He told her that no matter what, his dad's health comes first. So he encouraged her to get some rest, and tomorrow when she visits the hospital, she should talk him into it and just focus on getting better. After his dad's accident, the other party paid some compensation, but it only covered a small portion of the surgery costs. So he had been studying and working part-time at the same time. With help from some relatives, they were finally able to gather the cost. Once he pays half of the surgery cost for his dad, he expects things to be a little stressful. He's been working to save money for nearly half a year, and he really misses those times of fighting raid battles with everyone in the game. It had been so long since he logged in. He thought of hopping back in. He logged back in. The system asked him if he wanted to log in using the character level 52 Bone Warrior. He turned down the offer from Susu earlier, so he's worried about using that character now. So he thought of logging into his main account since it had been forever. He logged in using level 99 Rebellion Kid. With that, he entered the game and arrived in top power Bio Wasteland. Ever since his dad's accident, he hasn't logged in once. He felt emotional coming back in. With this account, he's at level 99, with 999 strength and speed. In his main account, he's a peak solo grinder and the server's #1. With his alternate account, it was for casual use, and using that, he teams up with other people occasionally. Ever since he solo cleared Abyss of the End, he'd cause a commotion wherever he went, so he had no choice but to create an alternate account. Then he eventually joined Yayu's small squad using that alternate account, and he barely logged into his main. He could imagine when they found out that he's Rebellion Kid, they'd tear him apart. Suddenly, he received a new message. He hadn't logged in for half a year, and someone still sent him a message. It was surprising. It was a welcome message that states that there's a welcome back bonus for veteran players. The developers had prepared a new challenge just for him. He should complete it, and he'll receive a large sum of gold as reward. The coins can be exchanged for cash and transferred to his bank account. He was surprised to learn that challenges in the game now come with cash rewards. He was suspicious of it. But if the reward was real, he could actually cover his dad's medical bills. He thinks it was just a game, so there's no harm in trying. And if he wins, he'd win big. And if it was a prank, he won't lose anything anyways. He accepted the challenge. Suddenly, there was static all around him. It was like his real body was being sucked inside. Then he landed in an eerie forest. He wondered why he was sent there. He thinks it was strange that he could feel touch in the game. It was too realistic, so it made him think that the developers added a sensory feedback feature to the game. But he also considered that he was transported into the game. Then, he noticed himself. To his surprise, he was a zombie. The system thanked him for accepting the hidden challenge. He was informed that the mutant faction in Bio Wasteland had faced an existential crisis and they needed his help. From then on, he's a wasteland zombie, a low-class, rotting larva. Mutant faction was the villain monster faction in the game. Zheng Fang's race was a zombie larva. He's in level 1 with 7 strength and 22 speed. The new Human Revival Alliance with its terrifying strength had cleared surface zones day and night without rest. Most of the mutant faction living on the surface has already been wiped out by the new humans. Only the high-level mutant groups in the abyss of the End dungeon remain relatively safe. However, the high-level mutants all act independently, and the new human alliance was rapidly leveling up and growing stronger. If they don't unify the mutant faction soon to resist them, total annihilation would come soon. In this desperate moment, they need Fang Yu to step forward, fight against the new Human Revival Alliance, and earn a chance at survival for the children of the wasteland. According to the original game settings, the mutant faction was just a bunch of man-eating monsters. But Fangu had been offline for half a year now, so he wondered if the game had several updates and even changed the character alignment. If the game world was real and the character role has been reversed, he knows he's screwed. He had no way to fight those powerful players, so that challenge was basically a death trap. In that moment, he's just a weakling zombie larva that will fall apart just by a single touch. Forget about leveling up or making money. He'd probably get one shot the moment he'd run into a player. Although the gap between him and the new Human Revival Alliance is still vast, as long as he keeps completing missions, he can level up and grow stronger and become the flashiest corpse in the wasteland. And until he completely defeats the new Human Revival Alliance, he cannot use the logout function. Only after he truly saved the wasteland can he return to the original world. He was annoyed that he's completely trapped in the game world. He knew that if he waited until then, his dad's surgery window will be long gone, and there wouldn't be any point in making money. The system assured him that when he successfully saved the wasteland and returned to his original world, time would revert to the exact moment before he entered. And everything he gains powers and rewards from saving the wasteland will remain with him. So basically, he'd level up and get stronger without losing any time. Then, he thought that based on that logic, the bio wasteland he's in was no longer just the virtual game world he knew. He realized that he's been transported into a fully real wasteland world. The system required him to complete his beginner mission, which was to defeat one giant reaver. This creature was at level 32. It made him angry because reavers starts at level 30 or higher, and with the level gap that far, it's basically suicide for him. And on top of that, they want him to save the mutant faction while also hunting them down. It was like killing his own kind. The system assured him that members of the mutant faction killed by him won't actually die. They would just respawn after 24 hours, however. If they were killed by players, they'd die permanently. And that was the same for him too. The mechanic not only keeps quests from being affected, but it also gives him unlimited respawn farming to level up, letting him close the power gap with the new Human Revival Alliance quickly. He was worried that mutants hold a grudge and come back to gang up on him after he respawned. The system told him to relax, since the more times he defeats them, the higher their favorability towards him becomes. It's basically their way of acknowledging his strength. He liked the sound of that. Survival of the fittest fits perfectly with the wasteland law of the jungle. Of course, it only works if he's strong enough to win. The system reiterated to him that the mission was extremely dangerous. But once completed, they will grant him massive rewards. He was asked if he's going to accept the mission. If not, the system will permanently delete his existence. He was amused how they planned it. With his dad's surgery right around the corner, it's when he needs money the most. So if he could win the reward, they won't have to worry about the surgery. He used to be the top player in Bio Wasteland, and now he got the chance to play again, but from the mutant factions side. This kind of challenge might look fun on the surface, but for a veteran like him, it's short of exhilarating. He accepted the mission. The system then encouraged him to go forth. He interpreted it as being told to start grinding monsters, but won't even tell him where exactly he was. The mission was clearly designed to screw him over from the start. He started putting the pieces of information together. Currently, he was inside an abandoned building, so he assumed that he's in a city area. Then it was nighttime, when he logged in, so players were running dungeons en masse, but there were no signs of player activity nearby, which means that it was either an obsolete low-level dungeon or a high-level zone that most players haven't cleared yet. The soil there was damp and smelled moldy, conditions that one wouldn't find in the scorched surface of the wasteland. He had a theory that he's deep underground in an abandoned city. And since there were high-level reavers there, it must be the high-difficulty dungeon of Abyss of the End. He knew that high-level reavers were located near the entrance area to the Abyss of the End. Abyss of the End was the ultimate dungeon in Bio Wasteland, with the highest level and difficulty of all. The area was originally a network of underground shelters built by human survivors after the apocalypse. Their technology was incredibly advanced, even able to simulate weather. Each had its own futuristic tech. But when war broke out between the mutants and the new humans, those sheltered suffered catastrophic damage. Eventually, the survivors fled to the surface with a new human revival alliance to rebuild. The shelter network gradually became the nesting ground of the mutant faction. The mutant law of survival was survival of the fittest, and any mutant that lasted that long in the shelters would be absurdly strong. For example, high-level reavers were one such group. They were distributed in the entrance zones of the Abyss, especially in the area called Silent City, known as the Bio City. Even the entrance zone mutants were several times stronger than top-tier mutants in other regions. And with the environmental debuffs there, the place basically became hell mode for players. That's why very few players even reach the place. Even first-tier squads can't survive there for long. Based on his past gameplay, the spawn density of high-level mutants in the area was very high. He knew to stay extra alert. He held a street vendor folding stool. It's at bronze level with +5 attack power. He got it from the roadside shop. Fangu was aware that there were hidden traps around there, so if he let his guard down, he's done for. He had cleared the place before, but back then, he had a top-tier gear back then to take the hits. And now, the system expects a zombie larva like him to take down a reaver. One mistake, and he would be insta-killed. He sensed something behind him. It was a silhouette of a large dog with red eyes. Then it revealed its sharp teeth. He was unlucky that it was the first thing that he encountered. He knew he couldn't run from it, so he decided to play along for a bit. Eventually, he came to a place where a woman in stilettos stomped on the floor. It was a female reaver in level 55, with 228 strength, 39 speed, and a special ability called Tentacle Extension Attack. She faced a green monster, and then she attacked it. This green mutant was a female stalker in level 49 with 234 strength, 37 speed, and a special ability called Camouflage Concealment. Fangu was hidden as he watched them. The system pointed at the quest target. Fangu was surprised to see female versions of reavers and stalkers because he had only seen male ones in the game. He wondered if those were the monsters that were added in a recent update. He was also intrigued why they were fighting over territory. Mutant-to-mutant battles were usually just hunting behaviors, but the reaver was the one initiating the fight with the stalker, so he knew it wasn't just about hunger. It was a clear display of territorial instinct. He started thinking that in the game where AI was used, the reaver was in fixed patrol range. They just followed a basic programmed route. But now, it actively searched territories. It clearly observed its surroundings to find intruders. It could be that I had gotten smarter, or it had become a terrifying sentient creature. When he looked at the reaver, he saw that she's not just busty, but brainy too. He knew she'd be more dangerous than anything that he had faced before. The difficulty had been raised, but if he can take advantage of some of the changes, he could outsmart the reaver lady. The female reaver took down the female stalker. Suddenly her bust was hit by a pebble, but it didn't do any damage. Fangu taunted her. Behind him was a cyber mini bike from the alleyway, in bronze quality, with +20 movement speed. The Reaver roared loudly. She tried to hit him using her tentacles. He knew that Reavers were naturally aggressive, and after he taunted her, she's even more enraged. His plan was to speed up with the mini bike and weave through alleyways to slow her down, but she's chasing him like a maniac. He may have the advantage of speed, but with her massive body size, each of her steps equals 10 of his. The slight speed advantage wasn't enough. But it was fine, because he wants her close. He liked it better to have her on his tail than lose her, just a little longer, and the delivery will arrive right on time. She stepped on something which was what he wanted. It triggered a trap. And then the female Reaver fell into the pit. One of the reasons Abyss of the End was so hard was because seemingly safe sports often hide lethal traps. Back in the day, he got screwed over by those traps more times than he could count. No way he'd forget their locations, and the female Reaver learned it the hard way. The female Reaver fell on the Hive Valley, nest of the swarming mutant paralysis in Silent City's North District. The wasps were experts at burrowing underground to build their nests. Once someone steps on the stone covering their tunnel, they will be dropped straight to the hunting ground. Among elite monsters, paralysis wasps have relatively low health points and defense, but their strength lies in sheer numbers. Each hive houses hundreds of wasps. Their venom carries a paralysis effect that continuously reduces their target's movement speed. Paralysis wasps were at level 45 with 120 strength, 45 speed, and special ability called Paralytic Venom Shock. If the trapped creature inside doesn't crush them quickly in one overwhelming strike, they'll be worn out over time. With hundreds of them swarming while the creature's speed keeps dropping, there's no way to finish them all. It's what makes them terrifying. If the Reaver doesn't have a mind of her own, there's no way he could lure her all the way from the South District to the north. Now, he's feeling thankful for the changes in the monster's behavior. He checked her and saw that she's paralyzed by the wasp venom. Her whole body went numb and stings like fire. He wished her to have fun on being tortured down there. He admitted to himself that the only advantage of a zombie larva was its decent base speed. Plus, the Silent City has a lot of speed-boosting tools like mini e-bikes, which let him barely outrun her. But still, Reavers were known for their high health points and insane defense, so he expected that the trap won't be enough to finish her off. She ate those wasps and hit them with her tentacles. Fangu estimated that by the time she struggles her way out, the paralysis wasps will have already drained at least half of her health points. She climbs out of the pit with 100 health points. Fangu waited for her at the top. He expected that those debuffs had been stacked by then. His next step was to release the hounds. When he whistled, the dogs came running to him. He rode one of them. Then the dog clawed the female Reaver. It reduced her health points to 1. It was the cue to end the fight. Fangu took out the stool chair that he got and hit her on the head using that. With that, the target was successfully eliminated. He praised Wangzai, the Shiba Inu pup in level 10. It has 99 strength, 26 speed, and a special ability called Wild Dog Charge, which stuns opponents. From then on, they were allies. According to the mechanics, the zombies and zombie dogs share a high level of bond, just like the natural trust and loyalty between humans and their pet dogs. When he first entered the game, he was actually ambushed by a pack of zombie pups and zombie dogs together. Fortunately, this time, he's on the same team as the zombie dogs. He pets her, and Wangzai likes it. If he hadn't had its help, he knew he wouldn't be able to take down that Reaver with his current, frail body. Suddenly, he leveled up, and he obtained the reward for the quest. From zombie larva, he leveled up to zombie juvenile, which means he's at level 19. His strength was now 51, speed 25, and he had a special skill called psychic shapeshift. He could feel the strength surge after leveling up. The boost from taking down a higher level enemy was insane. But he had no idea what the psychic shapeshift was. He wondered if it was some kind of passive triggered skill. He also received items as rewards, one of which was the Reaver tentacle skewer. He had to swallow it to trigger a surprise. He also earned 5,000 gold coins. Gold can be used to buy gear from Human City, state stores, or to purchase materials for base building. It can also be exchanged into real-world currency. Affection level increased too. After defeating the Reaver, her affection towards him has reached 100%, so now she will obey any commands he gives her. That was awkward, but to him, he cared about earning gold more than the affection points. He was informed that he may convert the gold into real-world money. Each coin equals 1 yuan in real-world currency. He started doing the math, and with 2,000 coins per Reaver kill, at that rate, he'd be able to gather money for his dad's surgery in no time. Then, the base building caught his attention. The system informed him that the base construction was the next hidden reward that he's about to receive. He completed the mission Defeat across levels at full health points, so he earned a hidden reward, which was unlocked, called a secret base, Hope Citadel. He was immediately reported to Hope Citadel. The warp includes him falling from the sky and crashing on the ground. He couldn't believe they just teleported him like that. When he saw the area, he recognized it. It was the legendary Hope Citadel. Bio Wasteland has an incredibly detailed world-building system. The devs even wrote hundreds of years' worth of in-game history. Among all entries, Hope Citadel was the most legendary name. According to the lore, after the world was reduced to wasteland, the surviving humans built underground shelters and began constructing Hope Citadel. Eventually, the researchers nearly developed a gene serum that could purge the virus and restore the consciousness of mutated beings. But just before the cure was completed, a catastrophic war broke out between the mutant horde and the new Human Revival Alliance. The last few survivors were wiped out in the crossfire. The City of Hope also declined and became a legend as time went by. Meanwhile, the various underground shelter areas gradually became lairs inhabited by the strongest monsters, forming the game's final dungeon, the Abyss of the End. Years later, with the help of the new Human Revival Alliance, mankind rebuilt its settlements on the surface. That surface capital was now known as a New Eden, the main city for players in the game. He didn't expect Hope Citadel from the game lore to actually exist, but records say it's hidden inside the Abyss of the End, and yet he didn't see it during his previous runs. After the fall of the shelters, Hope Citadel was hidden away by the system's emergency protection protocol, but from then on, it will serve as his beginner's refuge. Neither mutants nor the new Human Revival Alliance can enter the place. As he completes more missions and increases his level, the facilities and features of Hope Citadel would gradually be unlocked. His next goal was to build up the Citadel by completing quests, collecting materials, and upgrading structures. In time, it will become the ultimate stronghold for all wasteland inhabitants under his leadership. Also, the final reward for the mission was inside. He descended the staircase. He interpreted the whole scenario as him having to finish a quest, getting real estate, and then some mysterious bonus inside. He could tell that the busted system's really pulling out all the stops to win him over. Now, he's curious what the hidden reward was. But he noticed how Wangzai seemed to pick up a scent, and it hasn't stopped sniffing since they got there. He was surprised at what he saw in front of him. There was a human in a capsule. He couldn't believe how he was turned into a zombie, and now he was given a zombie wife. He expressed that the rotten system had no shame at all. Meanwhile, outside the game, at Siyue's house, she came out of the shower and sat on her bed. Her room was messy with the snacks scattered on the bed. The picture frame on her bedside showed her team in the game. She decided to log in. In the game, she's little Yue, level 24, with 100 strength and 18 speed. She arrived on a busy street inside the game. She headed to a shop to get buffs. She misses the days when Fangu was there. Back then, they had a fun time. She was with her friends named Meteor Shower, who was at level 22, the older, the spicier level 28, I Do Things My Way level 25, and Bone Warrior, who was also at level 25. If Fangu was there, they would have eaten already. Even though it's just virtual food that gives temporary buffs like health points or defense boosts, she really wants to eat it. She received a message asking if she wanted to enjoy the real-life experience of exclusive in-game goods. The message was from the Bio Wasteland gameplay tester, and he's inviting her to try out the new version completely free of charge. That intrigued her. But this so-called gameplay tester was actually Fangu. Out of the 4 reliable teammates, he bet the easiest one to trick was the food-loving Siyue. He decided to trick her. 10 minutes ago. He asked the system how he would use the reward given to him. He asked if there's even a manual. The system replied that the female zombie body was currently just a mindless shell. He needs to invite a player from the game to log in and take control of the body to use it in-game. And as long as he uses the supercomputer, he can send an invitation to the players in the game. However, the invited player must complete the final mission to rescue the mutants before they can log out of the game. His new mission was to invite one player to join the mutant army. It pissed him off. He was okay to get stuck because he had his dad's medical bills to pay, but dragging someone else into this was too much. He was worried that they can't log out until they finish the quest, like him. The system assured him that once he invited a player into the game, their bodies in the real world would continue functioning based on their original consciousness. His actual consciousness will just be transferred into Bio Wasteland to control the mutant character. And once the final mission is completed, they'll both return to the exact point in time they entered the game. He was pleased to hear that. He didn't expect the system to be somewhat humane. Then, the system added a reward. If both of them reach the mature stage, they can build a zombie army together. The image it projected was a female zombie in a bunny suit on a bed. It made his nose bleed. He commented that if the system continues with those kind of antics, this manhwa will be cancelled immediately. Then, Fangu wonders how he's going to get Siyue to lower her guard and accept the invite. Just luring her with food won't cut it. He thought about telling her that she can make money from game coins, or that she could unlock a hidden class. Suddenly, he received a notification that little Yueyu accepted the invitation. Now, the mutant female zombie has been activated. He was surprised that it worked. He realized that foodies are the easiest to trick. Player consciousness was linking. Eventually, the female zombie stepped out of the capsule. Now she's little Yue, or Cua, a child female zombie in level 10 with 60 strength and 20 speed. To her, it felt so real. The temperature, air, her breathing, everything. She wondered if it's the new game version because it really felt like she actually entered the game world. Fangu welcomed her. She was surprised to see a zombie child. She didn't expect to be a mutant. She charges at him and tried to hit him. He stepped backwards to evade her attack. She stepped back, too. She didn't expect him to be that fast. She attacked again, but he screamed at her to wait. He clenched his fist, and his fingers lengthened, and it formed a swirl. Her claws hit it. Cua was blasted away. The system congratulated Fangu for unlocking the will-based transformation skill. As long as he stays mentally focused, he can use his willpower to morph his body into any desired shape. He's currently at beginner level, and he can only transform his hands. As his level increases and he unlocks more quests, the number of body parts and forms he can morph into will expand. He thinks that the skill was interesting. If he wants defense, his arm can turn into a shield. Then, if he wants to attack, it can turn into a weapon. He charged at her. Then he morphed his hand into a pointy blade. He pointed the blade at her while telling her to take a good look at herself. She saw her reflection on the glass. She realized that she had turned into a female zombie. Then Fangu welcomed her to the mutant clan. She whipped her head in his direction and heard him say that they were in the legendary Hope Citadel, which he had conquered. And from then on, it will be the base for the mutant army. And she's the very first member of the base. As per the system's instructions, he explained all the rules to Cua, and even painted a tragic picture of the mutant clan's suffering. He also gave her a goal which was to help him save the mutant clan. He could clearly feel she's now fully immersed in the game's story. The key part was he promised her free meals and a place to stay if she joined the mutants. He knew no one would be able to resist that offer. He successfully tricked a player into joining the mutant army, and that earned him 2,000 gold. His total gold now was at 7,000 gold. He also earned equipment such as JK outfit, maid outfit, and a bunny girl outfit. His new quest was to try to get the female zombie to wear one of those outfits. The system clarified to him that the outfits actually boost combat power. If it would help Siwei become stronger, he had no choice but to do it. He convinced himself that to be able to defeat the powerful new humans, a proper gear was absolutely essential. He gave her the beginner outfit specifically prepared for her. He told her to put it on and fight. It was her first time trying out a realistic outfit in game, so she's looking forward to it. He was surprised that she agreed quickly, but then that's how she really was. She thinks that the outfit was good, but also it even feels real. She could clearly sense the combat boost. It added plus 10 strength and plus 3 speed. He told her that it's not bad, and the future of the mutant clan depends on her. With that, the female zombie outfit quest was completed. Fangu earned 5 gold, which brings his total gold to 7,005. Little Yueyue's affection also increased by plus 15%. It unlocks 100% of fusion skill. He complained that the system was stupid for only giving him 5 gold after a tough quest. He didn't care much about the fusion skill. Cua thought he was an NPC and started thinking that he's too realistic, like he has a consciousness of his own. Unexpectedly, her stomach growled. Her hunger felt so real. She was confused why she would feel that in the game. Seeing that she's hungry, he gave her a raider tentacle skewers. The smell made her drool. She was surprised to learn that the food in the game actually smells that good. He gave him that scrumptious meal to welcome her to the mutant clan. She immediately grabbed the sticks and started eating. He wanted to tell her to save some for him, but her food-guarding instincts as a zombie were way too intense. She finds the food delicious. Then she felt something strange. Suddenly, her bust grew, and tentacles appeared on her back. Fangu asked what's going on. The system informed him that after eating the raider tentacle skewers, the child female zombie has evolved into a teen female zombie and gained a special ability called Tentacle Strike. She's now at level 15 with 90 plus 10 strength and 23 plus 3 speed. She was confused about what was happening. It made him wonder if all zombies could acquire skills by eating the right food. The system answered that he's right. Regular zombies can only gain power by directly biting raw flesh from prey, so absorption was slow. Gaining skills or evolving takes a very long time. The system also pointed out that Cua has a special body constitution, and the food she ate was a quest reward, so her evolution was way faster. As for Fangu, he's even more unique because whatever he kills, he can take. He regretted giving the food to her. If he had known, he would have taken a bite. He knew nothing will be left once she gets her hands on food. The system told him that since he helped the female zombie level up and gain a skill, he's being awarded a beginner blind box. It randomly contains an item, attribute, or skill. Female zombie's evolution has triggered a new quest. He was tasked to lead her to take control of a zombie nest and defeat the current lord to become the new lord. Even though he's still hungry, he could never miss a chance to earn some cash and a bite to eat when there's a new quest. After syncing the new quest with Cua, she got even more fired up than he was. The next day, they arrived at the border between the Forest of Thorns and Silent City. There weren't many zombie clans in the Abyss of the End. Zombies were considered one of the weaker races and can only hide in the border zones between forests and cities in such harsh environments. They arrived in a zombie nest. It was in the southern tip of Silent City where the Forest of Thorns begins. This was filled with mutated animal zombies, making it a dangerous place. But zombie animals rarely enter the City of Ruins, so the border was relatively safer. Plus, it's a good place for food. There was rotting meat left behind from animal kills. Cua and him already infiltrated the ranks of the zombie clan. But the zombie groups in that world seem very different from the ones in their typical post-apocalyptic games. The female mutant that seemed to be a leader called everyone to line up for food. She announced that once mealtime is over, there will be no food. They were instructed to line up. In most games, zombies only swarm when it's time to eat. Normally, they're disorganized and lack intelligence. But that group of zombies clearly has high intelligence, along with strict management order. They organize hunts around the forest perimeter and distribute food according to a set of rules. For example, young zombies who don't participate in the hunts still receive food rations every day. They even capture human women to provide nutrition for the young zombies. But he was puzzled why they would use human zombies for that. He heard that the woman used to be a human researcher. She killed many zombies under the pretext of running experiments, so he speculated that the zombies did that to torture and take revenge on her. It was his turn next. He drank the milk. The system notified him of an increase in nutrition and intelligence. It answered his question. Now it made sense why the zombies in there were smart. The mutant female zombie grabbed him. She asked him what he's doing. He's worried that she would find out that he's not one of them. She scolded him for being in the wrong line since he's already a teenage zombie. He fell in line again, while thinking that she must have a pretty high status there. He was fortunate that she doesn't seem to care much about zombie identity. She's not hostile to outsiders either. He could tell that she's trying to grow the clan since the zombie population has been nearly wiped out by players. Cua was on the line, with a few zombies in front of him. She's eager to receive more even when she already received the meat rations for that day. Suddenly, someone announced that the Lord was back. The door opened. It was opened by two large mutants. The silhouette of the Lord appeared. She was a female mutant with red wings and tall horns, riding a zombie animal. Fangu asked the system why he can't see their level and information. He was referring to these female underlings who looked like they were some kind of commanders. The system explained that he could only view status panels for monsters defined by the official settings of the BioWasteland game, and the players he personally invited into the game. But the zombies in front of him were native beings that truly exist in the world, and each one of them was one of a kind. Fangu realized that the world was entirely different from the original game. It explained the astonishing evolution of zombies there. It made him think that they had a fighting chance against the new humans, as long as they can unite and dominate all the mutant clans. He knew that those female zombies aren't low level, so taking on that lord won't be easy. What's even stranger was the number markings on their chest. The system responded that he had a good eye, Then it explained that those zombies' backgrounds go all the way back to the genetic experiments of the Hope Citadel. After humans established the city, they built a genetics lab. The original purpose of the lab was to find ways to suppress biological mutations and return mutated creatures to normal. That way, mutated humans could be saved, and non-mutated ones would be free from threats. But the research didn't go well. After zombies were infected with the genetic serum, they became even more violent and their mutations accelerated. Humans had to shoot them. The researchers believed that failure was due to male zombies carrying excessive hyperandrogens in their virus, so they shifted their experiments to female zombies. To track each subject, they started numbering all experimental specimens. The experiments on female zombies were extremely cruel, extracting materials from their bodies for research or injecting them with all kinds of toxic chemicals. Even live dissection was used. They even conducted fusion experiments, sewing together female zombies with other zombie species. Although the research ultimately failed, it accidentally produced a super serum. Humans infected with the super serum became not only immune to the zombie virus, but also much stronger, with enhanced strength and speed. That's when humanity realized there was no point in saving mutated beings anymore, because now they had the power to defeat them. The Hope Federation began selecting elite humans and injecting them with the super serum, equipping them with the most advanced gear. These elites came to be known as the New Humans. The first wave of New Humans began hunting more mutant creatures to create even more serum. And so, the Hope Federation's mission changed completely from saving mutants to hunting them. Their ultimate plan was to annihilate all mutant life and build a new Eden. But what they didn't realize was that the very first female zombie infected with the super serum had already started to change. A female zombie labeled S00 was the first to evolve intelligence, and she vividly remembered everything done to her. Fear, rage, and a deep sense of crisis triggered a genetic explosion inside her. The experimental genes within her evolved drastically. In her berserk state, S00 led other zombies to break out of the lab. During the escape, the others also began awakening and evolving. The humans in the lab were consumed by terror. Responding to the emergency signal, the New Humans rushed back to the lab to provide support. For New Humans, killing ordinary evolved zombies was still easy, but against a zombie like S00, the current New Humans were clearly no match. S00 told them not to let any humans get away. The humans saw that all test subjects were out of control, so they tried to evacuate with the final experiment and the super serum. With her heart fully turned black, S00 led the awakened intelligent zombies and other mutant clans to destroy the city, Hope Citadel. They drove out the surviving human and New Human forces completely. During their retreat, the New Humans activated the city's defense protocol, attempting to trap the mutant clans inside and blow up the city along with them. Since then, S00 was never seen again. The powerful zombies in the abyss of the end were likely the surviving members of those mutant clans. The massive scandal about humanity was just too juicy to finish all at once, and it's miles away from the censored version the official story gave them. Fangu knew that he had to be more cautious from then on. After all, the scariest creatures in the world were humans. But there's one good thing in all of that. He finally figured something out. In the game, zombies were just ordinary mutants, and one of the mutant clans can evolve. But in that world, zombies gained evolution through those experiments, and it gave them unlimited potential. He felt how much he's blessed by the heavens. Someone noticed that he looks unfamiliar. The woman with the mark S01 saw he had a creepy smile too. Because of that terrifying smile, it made her wonder if he's a spy from the human side. She suggested digging his eyes out, but someone shoved her tentacle using another tentacle. She asked who was there. CUA stood in front of her. S01 feels that she's familiar. S01 was amused that she's protecting a comrade. She affirmed that mutant clans should be brave and united, but it was surprising that a mere lowly zombie like her managed to evolve a raider skill. She praised Lai Ying for doing a good job. Ying replied that as expected of her lord's leadership, feeding evolved mutant beast meat combined with human milk as nutritional catalyst has greatly boosted the intelligence and abilities of the young zombies. S01 replied that since it was the case, she can go ahead and arrange the next round of survival training. Just as Fangu expected, the zombie horde leader wasn't easy to deal with, so he prepared CUA to support him at any moment. She acted impulsively, but it proves that she's a loyal teammate. He thinks she's reliable because she stepped in right when it mattered. It was totally worth the room and board he promised. He also noticed that a female lord respects those who were bold and skilled in combat. He asked what the survival training that the female lord mentioned. The young boy zombie beside him whispered that it means letting young zombies who've reached a certain growth phase from their own teams of 3 zombies per group and survive in the Forest of Thorns for 1 month. Only those who return alive can stay in the nest. He realized that wherever it was, the group wouldn't waste resources on freeloaders. But based on what he remembered from the game, the mutated beasts in the Forest of Thorns were already extremely powerful, and all the mutants he encountered there were far stronger than their in-game counterparts. He expects that surviving there would be difficult. Ying said that it was too soon. She suggested training them a bit more first, or at least teach them some survival skills. After all, last time, only about 1/10 of the young zombies came back alive. S01 took offense that she's teaching her how to do her job. She clarified that she wouldn't dare. S01 told her that it's only a matter of time before the new humans come storming back into the abyss of the end, so the mutant clans must grow stronger fast. Compared to dying in survival training, getting captured by new humans is truly a fate worse than death. Meanwhile, the captured human researcher, whose eyes were bandaged, felt a tingling sensation on her eye. It made another male human to declare that her eyes had been sealed shut. This man was a Ghost Eye sniper, level 34, from the New Human Alliance under the Ghost Eye Alliance. And he specifically was a Lord level. He commented that those awakened zombies were too cunning. Even with the shared vision skill, he couldn't see anything useful through the cracks. Dr. Chin just became a wasted pawn. Bloodthirsty Electric Blade, level 36 from New Human Alliance under Bloodlust Paradise, Lord level, replied that among the mutant clans, zombies have evolved the fastest. They had to quickly figure out why. She thinks it's time for them to step in. The Ghost Eye sniper took offense and felt that she's looking down at them. She teased him for getting angry just from a few words. She invited him to have some fun. After all, ever since entering the real game world, the new humans finally awakened their genetic evolution, but they haven't had the chance to go all out in battle yet. Another person got angry at them. It was Iron Man X, level 39, the Lord of Iron Science from the New Human Alliance. He told them that all they need to remember is the price they paid to qualify for the real game world. If they don't work together and complete the final mission, they'll likely be warped out from the world, because dying there means being gone forever. The rebellious one, level 99, the new human hunter commander agreed with him. He uttered that fully conquering the fascinating world was the true reason they crossed over into that place. And if you guys paid attention, this character looks like the very same one our MC had when he cleared the game. Back to the base of the zombies, the researcher still looked like she's struggling with her eye. Our boy immediately recognized the shared vision skill. It gave him an idea that maybe this girl is also a player. But the strange thing is the zombies in this world have gotten smarter. They even covered the human captive's eye. Another thing is Fangu wondered why players can get pregnant. He doesn't remember that feature in the game. And even if no one's coming to rescue her, it was a puzzle to him why she wouldn't just log off. If he was right, then he could use that person. After the Lord left, the zombies of similar age were driven to a separate zone. It looked like the days of free meals were over. Ying congratulated them on qualifying for survival training. Next, she explained the rules and precautions. If they want to make it back alive, they better listen closely. First, the survival training will take place in the Forest of Thorns and will last 1 month. During this time, they must survive in the forest and gradually learn to hunt. Anyone who survives the full month may return to their territory. To survive, their top priority was hiding, not attacking. If they hunt, it would be best to work in small teams. But it wasn't advised to group up all together because they'll make it easier for monsters to take them all out at once. The deeper the forest they go, the stronger the monsters become. So it's best to explore the outskirts first and gradually move in. Her last warning to them was not to go to the center of the forest. After that, Fangu and Siwe got cautious of their surroundings. Fangu noticed how they explained the rules and precautions, but didn't teach a single survival skill. It was like they just sent them off to die. Suddenly, a boy appeared from the bushes beside them and agreed to what he said. He added that from what he heard, only 1 out of dozens of zombies in the last round of training came back alive. They were surprised to see him. Fangu pointed out that they're not close. The boy introduced himself as Li Baba. He shared that before he turned into a zombie, he trained a little in martial arts. But I think this is just a Temu version of Li from Naruto. He noticed them sneaking in from outside, so he knew they're not ordinary. That is why he wanted to team up with them. Fangu refused him. More zombies means more mouths to feed, and Siwe alone had barely enough food. Bringing him along with them would slow them down. Baba knew what he was worried about. He revealed that he had awakened an ability, too. Fangu knew that if he accepted him, they would have a better balance between offense and defense. He welcomed him to the team, but told him that he should follow his lead. Baba asked for their names. Fangu replied that it's not important because staying alive is what matters. He argued that it's not exactly true since they're half dead anyways. Fangu had no response to that. He continued to chat until Fangu threatened to take him out first if he didn't shut up. Fangu started thinking that he just wanted to form a team so he'll have someone to talk to. The system congratulated him on making a zombie friend. His reward was 250 gold coins, bringing his total to 7,255 gold. He was surprised that it gained him a reward. Meanwhile, in Forest of Thorns Area 1, 2 zombie women clung to a muscular zombie named Jiahui. They were scared because the place was eerie. He assured them not to worry, especially when they will stick to the edge of the forest since it's the safest. Suddenly, the woman was snatched by a tentacle. Later on, Jiahui and the rest too. This was actually done by a mutated toadback flower frog. It has several tongues wrapped around them. Fangu had experienced clearing Area 1 before, so he knew that many dangerous creatures actually lurk in the outer areas to hunt more easily. They hid behind the bush and watched them. Many inexperienced zombies think hiding in the outer edges would keep them safe, but they ended up as food for those mutated monsters. Area 1 of the forest was the feeding ground for mutated beasts that ambushed for food. While Area 2 was the nesting zone of mutated beasts, any invaders were hunted down without mercy. Area 3 was relatively the safest zone because Areas 4 and 5 were ruled by king-level mutated beasts. So many mutated beasts avoid those areas and retreat to Areas 1 and 2. The king-level beasts were led by the legendary King of Thorns, which is also how the forest got its name. But even Fangu's main account has never seen that monster. Area 3 has shorter vegetation, so only small-sized, low-tier mutated beasts hide there to avoid stronger ones in Areas 1, 2, 4, and 5. After a day of rest, they started hunting some small mutated creatures in their assigned zone for practice. Baba defeated a mutated giant rat, Siwe killed a mutated piranha, while Fangu cuts off the head of a mutated porcupine. Because of their kills, he gained 1,000 gold, totaling his gold coins to 8,255. He also got food rewards such as spicy stir-fried rat meat, sweet and sour piranha, and deep-fried porcupine steak. He also got a skill evolution called Morphing Gain Spike Attribute. After the warm-up, they began coordinating to hunt larger mutated monsters. With teamwork, they all went out, and finally took down the mutated giant bear ape. He gained 600 gold for that, which makes his total gold coins to 8,855. His reward was Thorn Ape Stew, and he also gained skill evolution called Mental Gigantification Attribute. He now has 2 mental morphing skills, Spikes and Gigantification. After that, the 3 of them kept teaming up to farm monsters. They fought monsters until sunset. Nighttime was too dangerous for grinding, and even zombies needed to eat, so that day's harvest was more than enough for a full meal. Baba told him that his cooking skills were amazing. He asked him how he could whip up dishes like that on the fly. He guessed that it was a black tech stolen from the new humans. Fangu was forced to answer, yes. It was perfect, though. Baba kept running his mouth to fill the gaps, so he doesn't even need to think of an excuse. Thanks to accumulated battle experience and stats boosts from food, Siwe had evolved again. Not only has her body changed significantly, but her tentacles have also become way more terrifying. Baba also showed visible evolution after eating the food. His physique became much more robust, and his destructive power had jumped a tier. Fangu could also feel that his power had improved quite a bit. They slept in a hidden cave, but he remained awake. He checked his stats, which showed that he has 15,000 gold, 1 basic blind box, and a special skill called Morphing, which had attributes like Spikes, Gigantification, and Elasticity. He wondered why he couldn't see his level and stat numbers. The system replied that it was just elements from the game, and now that he had gradually adapted to that world, that information no longer appears. The world wasn't governed by levels or numbers, so those metrics no longer hold meaning for him. Just as he thought, it was really a real world, so he's free to evolve without being bound by levels. That means skills would become way more important from then on. He already tested the Spike's attributes, but he was curious on what Gigantification and Elasticity was all about. The system gave him a new task. It was to solo kill a mutated flame tiger before dawn. He thought about how the mutated humanoid mosquito evolved to mimic a humanoid form in order to attract zombies, then grabs and drains them. It gave him an idea on what elasticity could be. The system reminded him that nighttime was when the forest of thorns was at most dangerous. Most of the large mutated beasts were nocturnal hunters. He complained that the stupid system screws with him again. He just decided to kill the tiger to test out the new skills. Nighttime is when the forest was at its most dangerous, but luckily, he memorized the terrain from grinding monsters during daytime. So he went out. Fangu ran into the mutated flame tiger while farming dungeons. He avoided provoking it so he could clear the quest smoothly. He knew it would be a hassle once it's angry. He was surprised at how big it was. It's at least twice the size it was the first time he saw it. But thinking about it, it was the real world. So it made sense that the guy evolved over time. Its reaction speed and strength were way beyond what he remembered, so he knew it won't be easy. He struck it, but it defended itself using its arm. Its hide was way too thick, he can't even cut through. He thought of another strategy. His arms morphed into large blades. He charges towards it while the flame tiger anticipates it. He struck his blade in an X motion while the flame tiger tried to claw him. It was followed by a huge explosion. He landed safely on the ground. He was happy that his attack worked. Though, immediately, the broken claws of the flame tiger returned to its original state, and it unleashes flames from its body. Its regeneration was too strong, and now that it has been pissed off, the flame attribute has been fully triggered. Fangu started wondering if it was the end for him. Debris flew everywhere when it moved. It was surprised that its prey had evaded. Fangu remembered something. He still had one last move, the elasticity. He released his morphed bullet towards it, and the impact was powerful. It blasted the flame tiger's head. He successfully defeated it and gained rewards like 3,000 gold, 2 basic blind boxes, skills like Beast Tongue, wherein it allows him to understand and communicate with all mutated beasts, and a mental morphing with flame attributes. His total gold was at 18,000. He also had 3 blind boxes now, and 2 special skills. The first one was mental morphine with attributes like spikes, gigantification, elasticity, and flame. The second skill was Beast Tongue. He was relieved to finally get the task done. Suddenly, there was a loud crashing sound. Some beasts came. It was the mutated ice tiger, mutated thunder tiger, and mutated Vajra tiger. They talked among themselves, asking if it was the zombie that killed the little tiger. Fangu realized that the noise attracted the whole family. They were caught off guard when a fire hit them. It burned the mutated Vajra tiger. It roared loudly from the excruciating pain. Mutated thunder tiger promised to save it. But the mutated Vajra tiger got confused when the mutated ice tiger stepped forward and stepped on him to put out the fire. But to their surprise, the fire grew bigger. It engulfed the mutated Vajra tiger. Fangu told them that if not for the mission, he'd hate to burn them. But he was blinded on how much gold he could get. While the mutated Vajra tiger kept burning, the other 2 attacked him. Fangu punched the ground and made it rise like a tower. That blocked the incoming attack. Cracks had started to form, and the 2 mutated creatures broke through, but they ended up confused, because they were falling into a lava pit. Fangu commented on their perfect timing because the hot pot just started boiling, and there goes 2 chunks of meat. After defeating them, his reward was 10,000 gold, crown of the Tiger King, and 3 basic blind boxes. Now, thunder, ice, and metal was added to his attributes. In total, he has 28,000 gold coins, 6 basic blind box. Mental morphing attributes were now spikes, gigantification, elasticity, flame, thunder, ice, metal, and his second skill was Beast Tongue. 1 month later, 3 female zombies waited by the large tree. Ying was worried that not even a single one survived. S01 expressed that she had hopes for those 2 little zombie brats, but now she thinks she was wrong about them. She saw S00 on CUA for a brief moment, but then she thought she was just imagining things. One of the women was sleeping upside down until she sensed a presence coming from deep within the forest. Ying asked if it was a zombie. She replied that it felt like one, but she knew a zombie couldn't have such an overwhelming aura. She expressed that the presence was like a stampede of beasts enough to paralyze someone with fear. S01 knew that Xiao Yu has incredibly sharp senses, so she's usually fully aware of everything around her. That's why she's always calm and composed. Even if the sky fell, she could sleep right through it. But something that could startle her and make her that nervous had intrigued her. One of them pointed to a movement from the forest. It was such a destructive explosion from a distance. A large foot stomped on the ground. It revealed menacing creatures. They were surprised to see it was the Thorn King, a mutated thorn dragon beast. They wondered if it was going on a rampage with the whole beast horde. One of them noticed that their movements seemed organized like they're heading toward a specific location. That clicked with S01. She realized that the beasts were escorting their new king back home. Above the mutated thorn dragon beast was Fangu, Siyue, and Baba. The female zombies wondered how they were able to pull that off. S01 thought he was just a rookie, but turns out he dropped a royal bomb right at the start. He was a promising one, and it made her excited. She didn't expect he'd actually manage to tame the mutated thorn dragon beast in just a month. She decided to test what he's made of. She flew right into him. Baba asked Fangu why the Lord was suddenly charging at him. He had no idea, but after a month of grinding, he was also curious to see if he could hold his ground. Baba used a skill called Petrification, 100% heavy cannon fist. S01 was impressed. After a month away, he had gotten that good. She evaded his attack. Then, she kicked him from behind while telling him that it was too bad he still can't hit her. When he crashed on the ground, it shattered. After that, he was unable to move. Another Yamcha reference for this one, huh? The next to attack was Siyue. And waifu number 1 was not even messing up. She went all out. Siyue used her tentacles to attack, but the Lord swatted it away. The Lord also noticed how she's stronger than the last guy. Also, she's quicker too. Siyue was angry that she hurt her comrades. She unleashed beams at her. It forces the Lord to shield herself into a cocoon. Siyue was confused when she saw her. She checked all parts of this cocoon, until the Lord came out and caught her off guard. The Lord used a hypnotic sound wave. She told her that she had no tactics. She could imagine her becoming terrifyingly strong, but at the moment she was hypnotized to sleep. A quick movement caught the Lord's attention. She knew the kid had been waiting for a while now. She assured them that she just made them quiet and didn't go too hard. Now that no one's interrupting their sparring session, she could go all out. Our MC unleashed a powerful energy while telling her not to hold back. She suggested that they changed locations. He agreed to it. They moved at a lightning speed. The other zombies couldn't even track their movements. And it was just the beginning. They knew that neither of them were even being serious yet. Those two clashed mid-air, and then eventually went to the ground. The Lord told him that the warm-up was over. She got serious. She demonstrated it by releasing the Hell Demon Seal. Then she unleashed the power of the night. The explosion was so powerful that it shot up into the air. She liked how he's got potential, but she knew that they had to beat him, otherwise he's not going to listen. But to her surprise, he stopped her attack with just his finger. Fangu was just chilling while telling her that she got this whole situation all wrong. Then he performed a quick kick that sent powerful sound waves to her in the middle, enough to push her back. He clarified that he's not there to be someone's protege. The current zombie lord, S01, fell on the ground, while Fangu told her to listen carefully. He unleashed a powerful energy while telling her that he's there to lead them, not support her. He used the power of the dragon. Then he transformed into a thorn dragon king, armor form. With that, he was ready to demonstrate his power. It was the result of his hard work for a month. He unleashed a dragon's roar. She knew that was the power of the thorn behemoth dragon. She was curious how she had it too. She couldn't evade the attack. S01 fell on her knees while she couldn't believe that she had lost. Fangu pointed out that she hadn't lost unfairly. He knew she'd be terrifying in the future, but at that moment, she's just going to be one of his commanders. She argued that she only let her guard down for a moment, but he revealed that he only used 1/10 of his strength to beat her. And if he's not mistaken, her remaining energy wasn't even enough to maintain the fake form much longer. That surprised her. She turned into a chibi, then she asked him how he knew about her secret. At this point, Fangu has 350,000 gold, 0 items, and special skills. First is the mental morphing, in which he had different attributes like spikes, gigantification, elasticity. The second skill was the beast tongue. He also had special attributes with flame, lightning, ice, and metal. He has the skill called King of Thorns, wherein he can summon mutated creatures from the Forest of Thorns. Lastly, he could use the power of the dragon, specifically the armor and the abilities of the mutated thorn behemoth dragon. He told her that she doesn't need to know. It made her wonder if he's a magic zombie. Just a little flashback. Back then, S00 left everyone in S01, Xiao Fu's care. She was just a young zombie then, but she was told to lead them and fight to survive. The young zombie asked S00 Ling Ling where she's going. She expressed that she can't do it alone. But Ling Ling turned her back while saying that there's something important that she needs to take care of. That's why she needs her to believe in herself. She just became the leader. She didn't want to let her down, so she led the horde and escaped human raids for years. But the guy was way stronger than him, and with him in charge, she believes that the zombie horde might actually have a shot at striking back. She called him Lord and requested him to lead them. The system congratulated Fangu for defeating the zombie nest leader and becoming the new Lord. His reward was 10,000 gold, which gives him a total of 360,000. He had now gained full control of the zombie horde. He assured her that from then on, he will lead everyone so they could survive. She got curious how he was able to beat the thorn dragon beast. It annoyed Fangu because the system had set him up again. Back then, after he beat the tiger's family, he got some serious stats and even more blind boxes. He got stronger and triggered a hidden quest, which was to defeat the thorn dragon beast within 1 day. He complained at the system since it looked like it wanted him dead. To beat that monster, he had opened all 6 blind boxes at once. He got insanely lucky and pulled 6 clone cards. The clone card's duration was 2 hours. Battle power reached 80% of the host, and they were controlled by the host's will. If it was the old him fighting it alone, he probably wouldn't have stood a chance. But now, he had gotten stronger. He got 7 of him in total. It was like an army of our MC. And their teamwork was excellent. While the dragon beast was being overwhelmed, COA joined in to provide fire support. They were trying to end the fight as fast as possible. The dragon was barely clinging to life and were ready to land the final blow. But then what he feared happened. The clones hit their time limit. Baba willingly joined in. He arrived just in time, and this time, he's a lot stronger. He hardened his body while Fangu uses him to deal the final blow. In the end, he knocked out the dragon beast with 1 hammer swing. The beast fell on the ground. Then the system congratulated him for defeating the thorn dragon beast. His reward was 70,000 gold, making his total 350,000 gold. He also received a skill reward called King of Thorns, where he could command mutated creatures in the Forest of Thorns. He also received Dragon Power, the armor and skills of the mutated thorn dragon beast. While down, the dragon looked at him. So Fangu told it that it was still the king of the forest, and he needs its support until he defeats the new humans. He told S01 that he and the dragon beast just hit it off and became friends. He knew she wouldn't believe him, but he just couldn't expose that he's a system player. Back at the nest, the large zombie leisurely feeds Xiaolu. Suddenly, a loud sound came from the roof. Then, someone rappelled down. The female human pointed a gun at the large zombie's head and blasted his head away. Lu, the bird, was spooked and flew away. It yelled for help as the new humans raided them. The zombies fell down one by one as the new humans hit them with laser guns. After that, everyone was down because of those 3 female humans. One female commented that they were all pathetic. The other woman reminded them not to let their guards down, since she had heard that a few high-level zombies in there had awakened abilities. The last woman told them that they should hurry and eliminate the infected undercover agent. To their surprise, 2 large hands grabbed 2 women. The large zombie was skin and bones, so it was starving. They were caught off guard on how large it was. Liu revealed to them that old Wang's ability was gigantification. It ate the women in its hands. Liu pointed out that there's another one. Fortunately, Wang was still starving. It tried to grab her, but the woman was able to step back. She knew that the tech weapons were more than a tickle to it. She had to use her new human power. She circled around it. She activated the ability called Gale Step Mirage, and Wang was caught up in the wind. Wang eventually got dizzy. Dr. Qin asked who was there. The woman replied that it was her. Dr. Qin recognized her, Wind Shadow. She felt relieved that she had come to save her. But Ghost Eye gave the order to wipe out the nest and kill her. She told her that it was her fault for carrying a zombie baby. Dr. Qin yelled at her to wait and listen. She brought out a gun and fired. But someone scratched her and chopped off her arm. She was surprised at what happened to her hand. Baba just came back from the special training, and he already ran into a human. It was the perfect timing to test his skills. He tried to hit her several times, but she skillfully evaded the attack while clutching her arm. He noticed that she had gotten fast. He asked if she had any other tricks and encouraged her to use it all at once because she won't get any other chance. The woman realized that the zombie in there had evolved to the point that they could talk fluently, but she didn't care much because she was confident that she could crush them regardless of how smart they were. She was caught off guard when she was punched from behind, and that threw her in the air. Baba told her that he could afford to miss 100 times, but she can't afford to make a single mistake. Otherwise, she'd die instantly. While in the air, the beast zombie caught her and ate her. Baba stated that it was the hostages' fault that they lost so many zombies. He suggested feeding her to the beast zombie, but Fangu told him to wait. Our MC told him to leave it to him, then ordered him to go find and gather the surviving mutants in the nest and wait for his signal. Baba willingly followed his command. Fangu removed the chains. The pregnant woman was surprised. She sat on the ground. Fangu told her that killing her would be too kind since she's a player that would just respawn. It made her curious how he knew about players when he's just a mutant. Then she concluded that he had no idea what the current game world had become. He asked what she meant. Since she's dying anyway, she thinks there's no harm in telling him. She shared that the players who had received an invitation to experience the real version of the game became characters, and there was no going back. Dying in that world means dying for real. Fangu realized that other players were invited too. He was curious why he's the only one who became a zombie. Then he asked her about her stomach. She narrated that it was because of that scumbag. She was originally a PhD student in bioengineering at Qingbei University, but she couldn't graduate because her dissertation kept failing. She was busy in the lab. After going home, she was bored, so she played Bio Wasteland with other players to kill time. That's where she met someone named Thunderfire. He started running dungeons with her every day, and eventually they became in-game lovers. One day he sent her a system invite saying she could enter the game for a fully immersive experience. She figured why not, but that was the start of her nightmare. At first, she was fascinated by the realism of the game world, and Thunderfire and her became lovers in real life too. He even recommended her to help the New Human Revival Alliance develop a biological evolution serum. She didn't expect that the game world's tech to be more advanced than the real world. Her research began showing results. Then she found out that he was secretly kissing another player, and she was already pregnant with his child. To get rid of her since she was no longer useful, he deliberately set her up during a mission, and she fell into a mutant trap. He wanted to use her as a host to share vision with the Ghost Eye Lord, but she already made herself blind. And to cover up everything he did, he ordered the nest to be wiped out and had the players kill her too. She started thinking that being killed would be the best release for her. Fangu told her that if she dies, the person who hurt her won't feel the slightest regret. The only right thing to do is make him pay for what he did to her. So he asked her if she would choose that or death if he gave her a chance. She didn't expect to get revenge. Later on, they went to the center tree in the Forest of Thorns. The zombie nest has been exposed, so it's no longer safe, and the new humans weren't relying on tech alone anymore. They have evolved stronger skills too. Fangu showed them a portal to the Hope Citadel, a state guarded by the mutated beasts of the Forest of Thorns, and the new humans haven't broken through there yet. They had to use that time to build Hope Citadel to become their stronghold and expand their kind. He announced that he will lead the mutant army and defeat the new humans. They all wished glory to their lord. Fangu ordered S01 to lead everyone and get them settled, also to start repairing and constructing facilities. She assured him that she got it. When they arrived, Cua was being tackled. Then she was licked by the zombie dog. Fangu greeted Wang Zai and asked about the task that he left him. Wang Zai barked loudly, and everyone started running. He gathered over 100 zombie dogs. Fangu praised him for that. With them on patrol, the city-state's security was covered. Finally, after a month of work, Fangu could take a break. Not a minute had passed when the system informed that Hope Citadel had enough builders to restore full operations. A large number of energy cores were needed. They exist in extremely hostile environments where living beings can't survive. Only cyborgs could collect them. So his next mission was to go to a mechanical wasteland, find and activate all hidden cyborgs. He got annoyed that there's another quest when he's so tired at the moment. He has been playing for ages but never heard of cyborgs before. The system replied that it's normal he doesn't know. The official game data was limited. But the system assured him that a new body was already being grown in the incubation chamber. As long as he activates the character, it will help him complete the mission. He eventually saw the body. Now his problem was to identify on who he could drag into the current game when the most gullible was there already. To his surprise, Cua appeared behind him. He ordered them all to rest, though. She told him that she's hungry. She called him by his name and requested something to eat. Fangu was so shocked. He asked how she knew that it was him. He knew how socially anxious. Not only did she speak that day, but she also figured out who he was. He could understand that she's so hungry that she broke her silence, but it confused him how she knew his identity. Then she pointed to his head. It displayed that he's the nest leader of the advanced zombie, and his name was there. He was surprised that she could see his name. The system informed him that invited players were automatically placed on the host's team. Once in a team, players can see the host's name, and both players' names default to their real names. It made him so annoyed. It was such a huge detail, and yet the system didn't say anything earlier. It was problematic that invited players would know his real identity. It meant that he could only invite the people that he trusted. His closest online friends were the safest choice. Siyue was in, so that leaves 3 others. He asked her who he should invite next among the 3, but she was just busy eating. She even asked for more meat. He realized that asking her to think of that was a bit much. The cyborg also looks like a high-tech creation. He heard that Susu's family company is in the intelligent robots business, and she was named as the sole heir of the company. After taking over, she immediately shifted focus, merging AI with cell response tech to create fully bionic robots. But she's been stuck at a technical bottleneck. If that keeps up, the company would be in serious trouble. He thinks that if he invites her, he could help her out too. Meanwhile, Susu was sleeping that night when she heard several notification sounds. She had no idea why the game was messaging her so early in the morning. She grabbed the VR headset. She then realized that she had been so busy with the company that she hasn't logged in for a while. She missed the days of running dungeons with Fangu. She checked the mail, and was surprised at what it contained. It was from him, and he told her that he's in serious trouble in the game, and he needs her help. He assured her that it will benefit her too. If she accepts his invitation, she'll enter a fully immersive game world and unlock the hidden class cyborg. She knew it was legit because only him calls her that. She got worried that he's in trouble. She accepted the invitation. She was surprised when several pixels appeared. Then her appearance transformed. Her consciousness was being linked too. She jumped out of the capsule. Now she's in the body of the cyborg. She couldn't believe how real it felt. The sensation of being a cyborg was beyond anything in the real world. She started to think that if it was real, then Fangu could really be in danger. To her surprise, he welcomed her back into the team. She got alarmed when she saw the zombie. She also noticed that it talks, and it calls her the way he calls her. Connecting the dots, she realized that he must have become a zombie. He admitted that she's not wrong. Though she refused to believe it because she knew that mutants were evil. She demanded that he hand over Fangu, or else she'd blow him into pieces. She wrapped her fist with concentrated energy. Then she punched him. He blocked it with his morphed shield. She was surprised at how strong he was. Because of that, she decided to go all out. But to her surprise, she was restrained by tentacles. It binded her hands and lifted it. Siyue approached her and told her that it's her, and that Fangu didn't lie to her. She encouraged her to focus her eyes on his head, and she'll see the info for all players. She did as told and was surprised to find out that it was true. After Siyue explained things, Susu finally calmed down and accepted reality. Once everything was synced with Susu, she understood the mission objective. She began activating the stored memories of the cyborg to search for relevant info for the mission. She led them to a long hidden elevator bay in the Hope Citadel. It turns out both the energy cores and cyborg coordinates were located beneath the city. As the elevator descended rapidly, the temperature inside rose quickly. She told them to get close to her. She encased them in a shield. To survive the intense heat wave, Fangu built a small ice shelter, but since they stick together, he felt even hotter. They had no idea how long it lasted, but they finally made it, though the head and the elevator came to a stop. They watched as the doors opened. Unexpectedly, water seeped through the cracks. It was weird that there was water in there. Fangu told them that the coordinate says it was right there, so they can't be wrong. They trusted Susu to lead the way while they dove underwater. As they swam, some mermaids saw them from a distance. Fangu saw them, and those mermaids approached them. They called it mutated merfolk. It was a species that was only mentioned in the official game lore. He can't believe that they're real. But their innocent faces then transformed into these monster-looking ones. They looked angry, and they started attacking our MC. But he beats them to it. If he hadn't read the official guide, he would have mistaken them for some beautiful women. Mutated merfolk aren't individually strong, but the sheer number makes them overwhelming. They surrounded them. They had no choice but to fight. Normally, Susu's combat ability as a cyborg was no joke. CUA was fast and powerful too, like the way she eats. But something spooked them that they all stopped attacking. He told them to take cover since he detected a large creature nearby. It was another legendary beast, the mutated devil Megalodon. Suddenly a tentacle was wrapped into it, and a large set of eyes appeared. The mutated titan squid showed up, and compared to it, the Megalodon was nothing but a small fry. They got sucked inside the mutated titan squid. When CUA opened her eyes, she asked where they were. Fangu replied that they're inside the octopus, and they actually arrived at their destination. There was a tall building in front of them. Susu affirmed that it was the place. The cyborg army and energy cores were there. It was the legendary ghost ruins. Fangu was puzzled how the ghost ruins could be inside a mutated titan emperor squid. Susu explained that humans probably tried to exile and seal off the energy core and the cyborg army base into the deep sea. It could be that the titan emperor squid swallowed the whole complex. It could also be the reason why the energy core's coordinates shifted to the deep sea area. They stepped inside. Immediately, something caught our MC's attention. Turns out, Fangu saw lots of destroyed gigantic cyborgs scattered on the ground. According to Susu's data, they should be the Titan female core, the strongest force in the cyborg army. Because of their massive size, they consume a lot of energy, so they had gone dormant after running out of power. Fangu expressed that they give him the creeps, so they better get out quickly. He stated that it was like they were watching them. They encountered several paths, so Fangu had to check with Susu on which one to take. She replied that the layout changed from what she remembers. She wondered if the place mutated too. Fangu wasn't even surprised. After all, the city was now part of a mutant creature's body. He knew they didn't have much time left. To find the energy core, Susu suggested that they split up, and they did just that. They said that if they encountered danger, they should return immediately and use the team panel to call for backup. Fangu stopped on his tracks. He saw a creature in front of him. It was an ambush. The creature was surprised to see a zombie when it wasn't supposed to be there. It considered the possibility that zombies evolved even after that chaos. But this creature decided it's not his business and just treated him like trash and fed it to the Titan Emperor squid baby as a snack. This creature was half cyborg and half tentacles with crystals at the bottom center of its body. The system apologized for the delay and then gave him his reward for completing the cyborg body mission with his teammate. He received 20,000 gold and a skill reward called Penetrating Strike Combo. He also had one blind box. A new mission also came in, which was to recover the cyborg leader called Dr. Mecha. His panel showed his total gold, which was 370,000, one blind box, and his special skills such as mental morphing, beast tongue, elemental mastery, death evolution, perception, king of thorns, dragon's might, and penetrating strike combo. He felt lucky running into the major boss right away. It was also the perfect chance to test his new skill. Meanwhile, Sue pouted as she fell into the water again. She was surprised when she saw that in front of her were dozens of pairs of eyes. The piranha-like creatures jumped at her. They surrounded her. Her stomach started growling. She easily killed them all. Then she happily ate on the side. She reasoned that Fangu said to return only if there's real danger, but those mutated piranhas weren't a threat to her. In fact, they're gourmet sent by the heavens. She also reasoned that she had to eat more so she could continue exploring. A small piranha swam away. Then it tattled on a large piranha. While she was eating, water had been splashed on her. Because the large piranha showed up. But instead of being intimidated, Siyue's eyes glimmered. She's ready for more. The large piranha got terrified with her reaction. Meanwhile, Susu was exploring a dry place. The signal got stronger, so she anticipated that she's getting close to the cyborg's control room. She stepped on something, and it activated a trap. It was a laser net. She used her cyborg body skill. Her body got separated, and it fit right through the gaps of the net. Once she was able to pass through, she connected her body again. She commented that the robotic tech in that world was way too advanced. She thought of applying that to their projects, but then she decided to focus on the mission first. She entered the room full of cyborgs in a capsule. She unleashed a USB connection from her finger. Then she activated the cyborg army. All the capsules opened. But something came out of the room. It was a large cyborg, and it detected an intruder, so it initiated slaughter mode. She didn't expect that. She got confused when the cyborgs attacked their allies. The large cyborg prepared lasers. She knew that cyborgs were a brain-machine hybrids, but that one was acting like a broken recorder. She knew that something was off. She combined her fists, and activated an energy shield. Then she prepared her guns. She sensed that the energy level was at 200%. The large cyborg activated the large combat annihilation mode. She activated AI Chien mode. It helps her predict enemy movement. She took out its weapon first, then she immobilized it, but it kept saying to eliminate intruders. Once it was down, she proceeded on resetting its system. She took off her head to do it. After a while, she was done, and just as she thought, its system had a forced command implanted. She placed the head back and reinstalled everything. Then she restarted the system, and the problem was solved. The cyborg's eye lit up. The cyborg was confused that he was outside the stasis pod. She explained that he had a kill program implanted in him, but he's finally back to normal now. She asked him what happened earlier. The cyborg called her a prototype unit. She asked what it was. He replied that it was a long story. He narrated that back then, Dr. Guangia was the top scientist in AI robotics. To help humanity build Hope Citadel, he used his self-made cyborgs to transport nuclear energy. Over time, the cyborgs became more capable and were assigned to defend the city. That's how the cyborg army was formed. But later, rebellion broke out, and the entire cyborg army was exiled. The reason was that humanity feared the awakened zombies might gain access to cyborg technology. The most advanced tech in cyborgs was built into the prototype unit. Since all new technology was first tested on the prototype, it contained the most cutting-edge systems. Sadly, after the rebellion, the prototype unit disappeared and wasn't exiled with the army. As for the kill program, it was likely the Guardian protocol Dr. Guangia implanted. He recalled that Dr. Guangia, the one who created them, actually exiled them and even embedded that kind of program. He couldn't understand why. Susu replied that they'll just have to ask him themselves. He asked her where she's going to find the doctor. Suddenly, another cyborg stepped in. They were tasked to eliminate intruders. She realized that he wasn't the only one with Guardian protocol. He replied that hundreds of them were exiled, and it could be that all had Guardian protocols. But before the cyborgs could attack her, a huge fist broke the wall. A gigantic female cyborg came in, and she started attacking the rogue cyborgs. With just one move, she was able to grab all of them and turn them into a ball. Meanwhile, Susu was surprised because she thought they were in stasis. The Titan female unit replied that Prototype was their leader, and she came there for her. She had no idea why. Then the Titan female explained that the Titan female unit was a special team created around a prototype unit, and the 9 members followed her orders. Dr. Guangia implanted a special protocol in them that after entering stasis, only the prototype could awaken them. And when they detected her presence, she woke up. Susu asked if she was there to protect her. The Titan female replied that she's there to follow her order. Susu asked for her help with something important. Meanwhile, back to our MC. Fangu continued to fight. He punched a tentacle, but he was surprised to find it so squishy. It completely nullified his attack and covered him in disgusting lime. Siwei happily roasted the piranha. She ate and became extremely satisfied. After that, it was time for her to regroup with Fangu and the others. She dove deep underwater and arrived at the area that looked like the nest of the mutated piranhas. She started to think that what she just ate was Piranha King. Something moved behind her. When she checked, it was a swirl of water, and then it revealed a mutated Zai Clan Piranha King. She realized it was the real mutated Piranha King, consequently, in Fangu's area. Dr. Mecha felt great from the electric current coursing through his body. Fangu had just learned that he could absorb electricity. Dr. Mecha shared that he has electric eel genes in his body, so electric attacks don't just work on him. They just gave him more energy. Since that was the case, Fangu decided to just roast him alive. He released a powerful stream of fire, but it just made Dr. Mecha smile. Fangu was taken aback. Dr. Mecha told him that there's no need to be surprised. He also fused with Pompeii worm genes, so high temperatures don't affect him either. But he's curious how a tiny zombie like Fangu not only has such high intelligence, but also possesses that power and skill. Since the zombie had awakened intelligence, he had decided that if he's not a threat, he wouldn't hurt him. So, if Fangu stopped at once, he would let him go. Fangu replied that he's just an ordinary zombie with nothing special. He came there for the energy core, and he's not leaving until he finishes his mission. Dr. Mecha didn't expect that he knew about the core. He made it clear that he couldn't just give it to him. But whether he gives it or not, it wasn't his authority in the first place. Fangu saw this chance to try out the new skill he got earlier. Our MC used the internal force combo. He hit him on different parts of his body, and then he waited for something to happen. Eventually, Dr. Mecha screamed out loud from the pain. He was confused about what's happening since his octopus cells were supposed to cushion any impact, and yet he's suddenly taking consecutive damage. Then he realized that the attack used on him was like a cow through a mountain. The damage transfers over a distance, then bursts all at once, and it is even stronger than before. It made him intrigued on how this little zombie had so many weird tricks. Since the attacks work so well, Fangu knew it was time to end the fight. Suddenly, someone released some chains, which wrapped around Fangu's final attack. It was Susu, and she told Fangu not to kill Dr. Mecha. Dr. Mecha was surprised to see her, a first-gen cyborg. Fangu asked her what's going on. She urged Dr. Mecha, or also known as Dr. Guangya, to tell them what really happened after his exile. He narrated that it all started with the uprising in Hope Citadel back then. A blonde human thanked him for everything that he had done and informed him that with the uprising, they couldn't risk cyborg tech getting out, so they had no choice but to exile all cyborgs to an uninhabited secret zone. Dr. Guangya felt that they were just used, then tossed away. Humanity demanded the exile of the cyborg army, not just to lock down the tech, but because they feared the power of Cryborgs. The blonde man informed him that if he agrees, they'll continue treating his zombified daughter and work on turning her back to a human. But if he refuses, his daughter will remain a zombie suffering like that forever. Basically, they threatened him with his daughter's life. So in the end, he was forced to make what might have been the worst decision of his life. He agreed to be exiled.
Thank you all for watching. Please watch this next Giga Chad video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, support the channel by joining the Summon Club membership. You can also support by just liking the video and being awesome.